Well, this looks promising. I've lost count. I think this is the fourth time these women have lined up. Saw that they were seeking some shade. And here we go. Women's 3,000 meters heat 2. Still the same 13 women trying to qualify for this final. And here we go. We are off and running, literally, in this second heat. Morden from Australia on the inside. She's keeping that tight inside lane at the moment. Worth keeping a look at those times. Top 3 go through in 6th position was Joqueas from Peru, 10:27. And a lot of these women have got personal bests, definitely faster than that, but as did the women in the first heat. So really interesting to see how this one will play out. But it is Chet Rotich there from Kenya, who has gone straight to the front. Nice technique over that barrier. 28 fixed barriers in this women's 3,000 meter steeplechase and 7 water jumps. So not just got the issue of the 3,000 meters to contend with, also got those barriers and the jumps. And really interesting to see the Bologna there of the US having to shorten her stride to get over that barrier. A lot of these women will be used to being the best in their nation. Probably never been in a situation where they've actually had to try and sight a barrier in the middle of a pack. It does take some getting used to. You see at the moment they are quite well spread out coming up to the first water jump. Everyone managed to get out of that one okay. Carrie Bologna didn't get much momentum on that. She almost looked like she was running up a hill trying to get out of that water jump, but here we go. The 2 women at the front are the 2 fastest on paper. It is Faith Rotich there of Kenya, personal best of 9:12.04. That has been set this year, and even more remarkable was that she did it at altitude in Nairobi, in the Kenyan capital, and she's followed in real close contention by the Ethiopian athlete Meriset Yes-Hanif. She is 4th on this year's global list of juniors, and both of some 10 meters on the rest of the field.
And just to give you 1 or 2 numbers to make a note of in terms of qualification, bear in mind it is the first 5 who are guaranteed a spot in the final, but we do have 5 places available for fastest non-automatic qualifiers. At the moment, the slowest of those, in other words, the 5th of the fastest non-qualifiers from the first heat, so in other words, she came through in 10th spot. Vasiliki Kalimogiani of Greece, 10:58.34. So we're looking at splits there at something like 3:40 for each kilometre of this race. So that's what these athletes are looking for, if perhaps the ceiling of their aspirations is to go through as the fastest non-qualifier. The fastest of the non-qualifiers, Veronica Huacasi of Peru, 10:27.81. So these athletes out in front who are already booking their spot through the first kilometre. 3:16, we've got a split there on the first kilometre, so you can do the sums yourself at home. That is around about 9:48, something like that. So to a degree, if we're looking at fastest non-qualifiers, I guess you could discount that split, but the women behind them, they're through in round about what do we say, is it 3:40, 3:30, something like that at the moment. So early days, of course, because so much ground is lost towards the end of a race rather than in the opening kilometre. But the 2 women out in front are running at the moment on the same sort of schedule that Sembo Alameu did when she ran 9:52 to win the first heat.
And interesting that you say that, running, operating at a time well inside 10 minutes. And again, we're going to need that wide camera angle. We've already got it there, which is absolutely great to see. They've already got such a distance upon the rest of these athletes, and we're really interested to see again whether it's kind of the coaches, the trainers' advice to get a good run out today. They need to do something, or would you think, I'll just chill, I'll just relax, I need it for that final, but both of these athletes operating really, really nice. Hardly change their stride at the barrier, well, a little bit of stuttering there, and we'll expect that to obviously increase during the rest of the race. But not just are they better, faster runners than the most of the athletes in this field, but they just obviously don't lose as much at the water jump. I think we saw the water jump, 30 seconds ago or so. We'll see it on the next lap as well. Some of the other athletes a little bit further back. It looks quite hard work. It's laborious, isn't it? I can't imagine, Martin, neither can you. You came from as a 400-meter hurdler, having to not only race at this, but the grueling training sessions that you've got to do to give you the strength, the endurance, the confidence, the technical abilities to negotiate that water jump as well, particularly when you're with momentum. They're not slowing down, they're not afraid of the water jump, which a lot of the athletes a little bit further back do seem to be quite afraid to attack it in the same way.
Yes, I can imagine you at various times been asked the same sort of question yourself. Which event do you think is the hardest of all? And people used to look at me and say, well, the 400-meter hurdles, which was dubbed the man killer for many, many years. Well, of course, it's what I did. I never quite found it a man killer, although it did reduce me to a gibbering wreck on occasions. I used to stand on the side of the track, and there we can see the Australian, unfortunately, having to pull out relatively early on. That's Emily Morden, who's capable of running 10:30, but clearly not running that today. She's out of it. But just to go back to that point, I used to stand on the inside of the track at sort of major meets sometimes and watch these fellas running 5,000 metres and see them clocking 60 seconds after 60 seconds after 60 seconds. And I thought, well, I used to suffer pain, but it used to last maybe 15 or 20 seconds. It didn't last 12 and a half or 13 minutes. It was probably the same for you in the 800 metres. I couldn't imagine how 800-metre runners could do it and keep on going, having 50 seconds as a man for the first 400 metres. I could go to 600 in 76, but I couldn't do the last 200 metres any better than about half an hour.
Well, I think the saying goes, everyone to their own, doesn't it? And I'm the same. I look at these women and I'm totally in awe of what they're doing. But yeah, not just the athletes at the front, it's those athletes who are behind. That's the real story as well. They want to get in those automatic qualification positions. We've got 3rd, 4th and 5th position. Good races going on behind these women. But just look at that. It's so impressive. We've got to be in awe of what they do. And just coming up with less than 2 laps to go now. We're just seeing the athlete in 3rd position there, going through with 2 laps to go. I think that is the Tunisian athlete. That is Derare. Oh, and there we're seeing the athlete from Morocco, Enarase. She's running well at this stage in that automatic qualification position. She's in 4th. I think the German athlete Julia Rath is currently in 5th. And it has been the Kenyan and the Ethiopian athletes who've really made this event their own over the years. But really interesting at the recent World Athletics Championships. We had athletes who made that final from a number of nations. We have Bahrain, Albania, USA, Tunisia, France, Uganda, Kenya, Slovenia, Great Britain and Germany all featuring in that final. To actually think, you know what, this is really a global event now. It's really gathering momentum. 6 different women from different nations have won this. And here we go, 350 metres to go for the 2 athletes at the front, Chirotic and Yannis.
I think I should have told you, actually, it was Laura McKillop who we saw on the inside of the track, but the news on Emily Morden actually isn't much better. She's just actually been passed and lapped by the leaders and clearly in some discomfort, so it's not been a great last 10 minutes for the Australians. But look at these two, rather like Almayu in that opening heat. They are full of running and showing no real impact of not just the pace that they're going at, but a break in rhythm, which is what the steeplechase barriers do. And the winner there running superbly out of that water.
Absolutely. Great to see them. They'll be coming into the straight now, finishing this. And it's really interesting. Chirotic wants to win this one, doesn't she? She's really interested in trying to win it. And in fact, she's put somewhat 15 metres ahead of Yasetha in second place. So our attention will come